Welcome to M Squared TechCast, a live show offering the latest news and interviews with the people driving business, technology, and politics in Michigan. Now, your hosts, Matt Roush and Mike Brennan.
Hey, it's Matt Roush.
And Mike Brennan.
And we're back with another segment of the M Squared TechCast.
And continuing on with our cannabis theme, we have Kyle Lisabeth. Is it pronounced Lisabeth? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, that's right, Mike.
Okay.
Kyle Lisabeth with Silver Bullet Water Treatment.
Okay. And you're calling in from lovely downtown Cleveland. Why anybody wants to go there, I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Rock and
baby.
roll, yeah. And so,
Yeah.
and actually we have in studio, we just finished with Thomas Tong, and he's got the headphones on listening. So don't say anything bad about the conference, okay? So
I'll try not to.
Okay, good. So you are with the Silver Bullet Water Treatment System, and let's start off with explaining what that is, because I just came up to speed on that over the weekend. So what is it that you guys do specifically?
Right. So, well, first, thanks for the opportunity, both to you and to Thomas for having us on your show. We greatly appreciate it, and we're excited. We're excited for the Michigan cannabis market. We deal in a lot of different water treatment markets. So I kind of start by giving you a background of our company. We're based out of Colorado. We do water treatment and water management for a number of different applications and markets. We have over 1,000 treatment technologies installed, predominantly in our livestock drinking water division and cooling tower division and data centers, all of which need a level of water treatment and water management. The horticulture industry is our youngest business unit, industry segment that we serve, and that includes plant production and controlled environment agriculture, leafy greens, produce, and of course cannabis. And we've been doing that successfully for a number of years, and the treatment technologies and the engineering consulting we provide to the industry has been well received. So we have a number of different treatment products, and we couple that with engineering design and automation and controls, and basically a number of different solutions that help cannabis cultivators manage their water better.
So what are the unique challenges of water management in a cannabis production environment? I mean, I know it's plants, right? So they grow in water and soil or a soil substitute.
Right. At this day and age, again, reverting back to controlled environment agricultural production, that's predominantly where cannabis is being cultivated. Now, you talk about controlled environments being greenhouses or indoor facilities where you're trying to manage external variables, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the inputs to cannabis and to optimum plant production is water. Water is the driver in not only plant production and growth, but the driver of nutrients. And it can also be the driver of either beneficial or pathogenic microorganisms that can affect your crop. And so we look at that and we say, great, how can we make your operation more sustainable, more efficient? How can we prevent your risk of pathogens coming into your facility? And then how can we optimize those other additives that you're providing to the plant and help you grow better, more consistent quality plants? And by the way, let's monitor all that while we do it, so you know exactly what your inputs are and how efficient your operation is.
In our previous interview with Thomas Tong, we were talking about consistency being key. Does having consistent water, does that play into that?
Yeah. Part of, again, sticking with the theme of controlled environment agriculture and optimizing cannabis production, you want consistency throughout your cultivation process. You want to limit those external variables. You want to have optimum ambient environmental quality. Okay, optimum ambient temperature and humidity and CO2 and air quality. The same on the nutrient side and the same on the water quality side. If your water quality varies, your pH varies, if the constituents in the water vary, you may or may not have uniform plant production on the back end. The quality of your plant is going to differ, and so inconsistencies in the products that you're producing is going to ultimately affect inconsistencies with what you're putting on the market and what your consumers are expecting. So part of it's consistent quality, and then again, I'll revert back, and part of it is preventing risk and making sure that you get the most optimum yield you can with good quality water.
Okay, so how do you see Michigan's new recreational cannabis rules affecting cultivation?
Michigan's an exciting market. Silver Bullet deals in a lot of different states and in Canada in respects to the cannabis industry. We're based out of Colorado, so we've kind of seen the recreational programs, from the ground up. I think what Michigan's done really well is they've taken a very methodical approach to rolling out a controlled, regulated medical and cannabis and recreational market, and it's got the eye of the entire industry. There's 10 million people in Michigan. You have a lot of caregiver cards. I think over 270,000.
300 actually.
Yeah.
300. Okay. Yeah, those are probably last year's numbers. And on top of that, it's brought in a lot of revenue for the state. And the projections, from several, reputable data research firms, it said, this state voted for it, 60%, and there's a lot of consumers in the state. Let's roll it out safe and effectively. And so where Silver Bullet comes into play with that is there's going to be a lot of large cultivation operations. Part of the new licensing program is growers can now grow not just medical, but recreational as well. Growers can now have a higher plant count. Growers can now stack licenses. So you have very large facilities, and what we can provide is say, hey, look, let's make sure your water's treated and to the quality that you need it for optimum plant production. Let's make sure we're reusing and recycling your water when appropriate inside your facility. And let's make sure we're staying regulatory compliant. And that's one of the things that I think the Department of Environmental Quality, Michigan State's DEQ, has kind of said, hey, look, we have some concerns with this. We're not putting any regulation out yet, but we're going to keep an eye on discharge. We're going to keep an eye on how much water you are using. We might put in place a special permit if you're using a lot of water. So utility management and appropriate water management and regulation is a talking point, not just in Michigan, but in the entire industry. And we're prepared to kind of address that and work with not only state officials, but the growers themselves to make sure they're compliant.
Thomas just passed me a note saying we should look at the differences in water, the well water, the rainwater, the city water. And does your system deal with all that and kind of balance everything out?
We do with a lot of it. We work with other companies and other technologies. We kind of try and stay in our lane in terms of what treatment technologies we can provide. We partner with a lot of other water treatment and water management companies. The best approach to the market that we've found, being that cannabis cultivation, it covers a large majority of the U.S. and Canada. Partnering with regional water management companies can be very effective. They know the local regulations. They understand the different water qualities, the different groundwater qualities, the different regional and state and even local regulations to be put in place. We do a lot of that work up front as well. We're going to be talking a lot about that at Cannabis-Aid's event on October 11th and 12th. But yeah, we work with the growers each step of the way to ensure, hey, let's take a look at what your source water quality is. Let's take a look at how we're using that inside your building. Can we recycle your condensate water, or can we recycle your irrigation water? And for your waste streams, where's that going? Do you have the ability to discharge to a municipality? Do you have the ability to discharge to surface waters? The state has already ruled out discharging to a septic system, I believe, at this point. So that's kind of not an option if growers were looking to do that. And there could be other options. So maybe a facility is located on agricultural zoned land. They could have the ability to reuse or recycle that irrigation runoff in a different manner.
So how can a better water management program reduce costs, make more revenue?
Right. So part of it's on being proactive. I mentioned risk prevention. That risk prevention, if you get a waterborne pathogen, and most growers know these very well, Pythium, Fusarium, Phytophthora, these waterborne pathogens can affect the roots and affect nutrient uptake and ultimately yield. So by preventing those, you're already one step ahead of the game. If you had an entire facility of 500 plants go down because you had a waterborne pathogen, it's more or less a six-figure mistake.
Yeah.
And if you have, 3 to 5 harvests per year, it could be highly risky to not have a water treatment or prevention program in place. But on the other side, if you're treating your water or conditioning your water and monitoring your water, you're able to optimize all kinds of other things within the facility. You can optimize your pH adjustment and your nutrient program. And if you're collecting your runoff and recycling and reusing it, you're reusing those nutrients. So there's a number of different ways to capture ROI from, improving your water management program and reducing operational costs.
Okay, Kyle,
we don't talk it.
We're under a minute now, so now is the time for your shameless plug. Tell people how to get a hold of you and to get a hold of Silver Bullet Water Treatment.
Well, I want to say again, thank you guys. I really appreciate it, Mike. I really appreciate Michigan Tech. I really appreciate Cannabis-Aid. Google us, our website, silverbulletcorp.com. Check us out. We can answer any questions you have. If we can't, we can refer you to people that we work with within the industry. And I strongly suggest stop by the event. It's going to be a great event, October 11th and 12th. We'll have a wealth of information there, regionally specific information regarding Michigan, and happy to chat with anybody about any cultivation questions.
Okay. Thanks very much for being with us today, Kyle Lisabeth of Silver Bullet Water Treatment.